And what makes extraordinary cities are public spaces where people can gather, they can be in nature, they can connect and kind of recenter and recharge, but they can also find places to be in the commons with other people, and that's what makes cities really interesting. I mean, I love cities because you bring the best of people and ideas, but you also bring people together in a way that really creates something that's pretty extraordinary, which are democratic cities. I think Waterfront Park is really going to do that. So we know that there are going to be millions of people coming. We have lots of tourists who love this city, but this is going to be a destination for people regionally and nationally and internationally.
How y'all doing?
But we want locals to come back and rediscover downtown and rediscover Waterfront Park. I think this is a real opportunity for people to see themselves in this place, to make it their own, to actually build a new rhythm of coming down here maybe once or twice a week, and not just maybe when you have people in town that are visiting to come and see the waterfront. So we're excited about what this means about transforming our downtown and transforming our city. Sure, I'm Joy Shigaki. I'm president and CEO of Friends of Waterfront Park. We are a nonprofit that were established in 2012 as the beginning of this park was coming to take shape. And we're the nonprofit who's going to be managing this extraordinary new urban park that will be opening in the spring of 2025. Our role is to resource the park, so we're hoping to raise $170 million for the campaign for Waterfront Park. We've been programming it alongside community to come in and begin enjoying this place, and we're stewarding and going to be caring for it in perpetuity for generations to come. So this is an extraordinary project. For those of you who grew up in Seattle, I'm a Seattleite. We remember the viaduct that once disconnected the waterfront from downtown and from the neighborhoods and from the Salish Sea. After the 2001 Nisqually earthquake, there was a vision about recreating this space and reimagining it into a downtown urban park. And so what it took after many years, 15 years in the making, was the vision of a new extraordinary waterfront park, which will be a world-class park for people who are locals to come back down and rediscover it. But of the 15 million people who are anticipated to come annually to really enjoy the beauty of this place, to be in community and really recognize how extraordinary this city is, and an invitation into seeing what we do in this city that's really audacious and amazing. And this park will be a representation
Each piece is kind of its own
So I think what make extraordinary cities are a number of things, but one of those things are parks and public spaces. You think a lot about the most extraordinary cities, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. We actually have a lot of beautiful parks in Seattle. I grew up at Discovery Park, Seward Park, and Lincoln Park. So we're a city of extraordinary neighborhood parks, but we haven't had a downtown park. And what makes extraordinary cities are public spaces where people can gather, they can be in nature, they can connect and kind of recenter and recharge, but they can also find places to be in the commons with other people, and that's what makes cities really interesting. I mean, I love cities because you bring the best of people and ideas, but you also bring people together in a way that really creates something that's pretty extraordinary, which are democratic cities. I think Waterfront Park is really going to do that. So we know that there are going to be millions of people coming. We have lots of tourists who love this city. But this is going to be a destination for people regionally and nationally and internationally. But we want locals to come back and rediscover downtown and rediscover Waterfront Park. I think this is a real opportunity for people to see themselves in this place, to make it their own, to actually build a new rhythm of coming down here maybe once or twice a week, and not just maybe when you have people in town that are visiting to come and see the waterfront. So we're excited about what this means about transforming our downtown and transforming our city. Sure, I'm Joy Shigaki. I'm president and CEO of Friends of Waterfront Park. We are a nonprofit that were established in 2012 as the beginning of this park was coming to take shape. And we're the nonprofit who's going to be managing this extraordinary new urban park that will be opening in the spring of 2025. Our role is to resource the park, so we're hoping to raise $170 million for the campaign for Waterfront Park. We've been programming it alongside community to come in and begin enjoying this place, and we're stewarding and going to be caring for it.
Thank you for showing up.
In perpetuity for generations to come.
Please watch this video real quick. If you got
so this is an extraordinary project. For those of you who grew up in Seattle, I'm a Seattleite. We remember the viaduct that once disconnected the waterfront from downtown and from the neighborhoods and from the Salish Sea. After the 2001 Nisqually earthquake, there was a vision about recreating the space and reimagining it into a downtown urban park. And so what it took after many years, 15 years in the making, was the vision of a new extraordinary
more
waterfront
about
park,
dynamic
which will be a
range on your
world-class park
cameras.
for people who are locals to come back
you
down
can
and
make this
rediscover it.
achieved
But of the
with
15 million people who are
Sony
anticipated to come
7.4s
annually to really enjoy the beauty of this place,
and
to be in
FX30s.
community and really recognize how extraordinary
So let me
this
mute
city
her real
is,
quick. We're gonna
and
talk
an
about how we
invitation into
achieved
seeing what we
this
do in this city
particular
that's really
look.
audacious and amazing.
Hi, everybody. William here with A.P.C Photography and WDCD Media. Thank you for showing up. I see there's 5 of you online right now. Let's talk about how to make someone pop in front of a window. If you are in the Pacific Northwest, or if you're just in any place that has a really good exterior look through the window, it is a great way to give separation, lines of where somebody is, which is beautiful. So you can line her up, get this person in the right shot, in the right way, and have them looking spectacular. You can do this with a single light or a dual light setup. In this case, we use a single light, and then we can use 1 or 2 cameras. In this case here, we use 2 cameras, so we have 2 angles. So I wanted a 3/4 shot, and I wanted a full shot. As you can see, both shots look about exactly the same color-wise. They were shot on 2 entirely different cameras, and cameras that right now, if you've been watching all the reviews lately, are considered some of the junk cameras in comparison to the stuff that just came out. So this was a shot on an FX30 and a Sony A7 IV. Do we see a dynamic range issue here? Absolutely not. This is called utilizing dynamic range with assisting in lighting. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process, and I'll bring this up a couple different times on how you would do this. At first, you definitely want to get your camera set at 180-degree angles, because you can see she doesn't have any like that digital look to her. It has a good cinematic, beautiful, nice hand movement look to it, and that's really important. So to do that, you need to be about 180 degrees on your cameras. Now, if you have the FX30 or any camera with camera angle, just set it at 180 degrees. You'll be good there. Now, if you have a Canon, Sony, Panasonic, or any other camera that does not have shutter angle, with the Canons, the Panasonics, set it at double the frame rate. Now, you can't always get exactly double the frame rate with those, so you get as close as you can to 180 degrees. Now, with Sony, you can get to a true 180 degrees. You will do that by going ahead and setting up there is a variable shutter option, and then you would scroll until you get to like 59.9 or 59.4. That ensures you get the right shutter angle, so when you're doing your editing later, it looks really good. Second piece you need to do, instead of exposing for the subject that's in the scene, this is a key piece right here. The idea is you're actually exposing for this area here. So all of this, the window, all the rest in the background, this is what you're exposing your cameras for. The actual talent is not important in this situation. So basically the idea is to go from the furthest light to the closest light. For those who are staying with me, I'm teaching you some game that you're just not going to get anyplace else, because most of the videographers don't want to give up this game or don't know this game. So the first thing I was looking to expose for is what's outside the window. It looks like I've exposed everything and balanced it pretty well, but actually I've exposed everything for outside. Once that's exposed, you bring in your lighting. Now, depending on how you're trying to do this, and I wanted some good bokeh blur, but I also wanted to make sure I got her to pop but not destroy the environment around me in the background, I shot in an f4. You can shoot any way you want to. It's really up to you. But shooting an f4 allowed me to get this really, really nice separation while still keeping a really good shot going. Next, as you bring up, the light that you would use is either a 300 watt, you'll need a cob light. Now, if you got questions, please ask questions. I'll go through the rest of this. All right, so next will be a 300 watt cob light to a 600 watt light. After you've exposed for the furthest light, then you want to worry about filling in the light for the close subject matter. In this case here, our talent. And when you put that exposure on there, then it just looks great. Now this is one of the examples that I've done. I've got several other examples. Let's see if I can pull a few more up to show them to you that are going to be right. Let's see. I have. Let me look at. There's one that I shot. It's a longer one. Let's go to desktop. How y'all doing today? If you got any questions on how I got this shot done, just ask. It's something I don't really get into very often, and I love what I do. I just never really talk about it, basically. I'll give you another example here. This one is going to be my next example. I'm going to remove this. So this wasn't like a fluke or one-off. This is, let me add another one in here for you. So here's another one from another series of interviews I did. Once again, windows aren't blown out. We can see where we're at. We're using the windows as part of the scene. This is kind of important. You always want to expose for what's exterior, in this case here, and then you want to do an interior shot. As you can see, I did a Rembrandt shot, a little more shadow towards me, light away. This is a good way to emphasize somebody and get them in the shot. If you got any questions, ask. So far, no questions. Now, I will be starting in January, being more consistent when I'm streaming. It's just right now, I'm streaming, 10, 11 o'clock at night. There's not going to be that many people on, not in the U.S. But I'm just getting in the habit of streaming and trying to put these together in a way that makes sense. I'll be showing techniques on how to do video productions and AV productions all the way through. And tonight we're just going to be talking about exposing in front of a window. So the idea is go with your furthest light source. In this case here, it's going to be these trees. Now, I did blow this portion out. It's because we weren't allowed to show all of this because it would give location away. It's kind of a weird situation. I did not want it to be dead in the office because that's the space we had, was just the office. But I also wanted an opportunity to give more room. We were in a 10, somebody's normal 10 by 8 office. And so when you're in a 10 by 8 office, you got to put lights, cameras, all the rest in there, and you got to figure out how to get that done. And being able to get nice color, dynamic range, and the rest, while still in a tight spot and having a really nice interview look, it's going to be one of those tools that's going to help you a lot with any of the filming you're doing down the road. You want to be able to give people good visuals to work with. Feel free to comment or have any questions for me. I'll walk you through exactly what I did to make this happen. This is another example of just how you can set up an interview, and you're going to definitely pull pieces off there. You're rarely going to do just the interview the whole way through, but this is one of those many ways that you can do interviews. Let me see if I can build this scene out a little different. So, if y'all have any questions about this, please feel free to ask me. I will be checking comments. If you like the way the interview looks, just let me know. Do not have sound on this one for a reason, but I'll put sound back on the previous one I had up. So let me remove this one from the scene. Yes, and I'm going to add. Remove. I'm going to add back in the previous one I had in there. And I'll put some audio with that one there so you can hear what it sounds like when we're doing interviews.
who's going to be managing this extraordinary new urban park that will be
There you go.
opening in the spring
So y'all can
of
listen to what it
2025.
sounds like. I'm
Our role is to
gonna
resource the
pull up
park, so
another
we're hoping to
couple videos
raise
just so you can
$170
kinda
million
see what they look
for the
like.
campaign for
And
Waterfront
these are just
Park.
a couple different
We've been
examples
programming
of how
it
to shoot
alongside
in front of a
community to
window.
come in and begin
This is a
enjoying this
two-camera
place.
setup,
And
so
we're
we
stewarding and
had
going to be
a
caring
wide
for
and a
it
tight.
in perpetuity for generations to come.
This was a
So this is an extraordinary project. For those of you who grew up in Seattle, I'm a Seattleite. We remember the viaduct that once disconnected the waterfront from downtown, from the neighborhoods, and from the Salish Sea. After the 2001 Nisqually earthquake, there was a vision about recreating this space and reimagining it into a downtown urban park. And so what it took after many years, 15 years in the making, was the vision of a new extraordinary waterfront park, which will be a world-class park for people who are locals to come back down and rediscover it. But of the 15 million people who are anticipated to come annually to really enjoy the beauty of this place, to be in community and really recognize how extraordinary this city is, and an invitation into seeing what we do in this city that's really audacious and amazing. And this park will be a representation of that.
Thank you for asking.
So I think what make extraordinary cities are a number of things, but one of those things are parks and public spaces. You think a lot about the most extraordinary cities, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. We actually have a lot of beautiful parks in Seattle. I grew up at Discovery Park, Seward Park, and Lincoln Park. So we're a city of extraordinary neighborhood parks, but we haven't had a downtown park. And what makes extraordinary cities are public spaces where people can gather, they can be in nature, they can connect and kind of recenter and recharge, but they can also find places to be in the commons with other people, and that's what makes cities really interesting. I mean, I love cities because you bring the best of people and ideas, but you also bring people together in a way that really creates something that's pretty extraordinary, which are democratic cities. I think Waterfront Park is really going to do that. So we know that there are going to be millions of people coming. We have lots of tourists who love this city, but this is going to be a destination for people regionally and nationally and internationally. But we want locals to come back and rediscover downtown and rediscover Waterfront Park. I think this is a real opportunity for people to see themselves.
So if you look behind the talent, you'll see there's a window, which sounds kind of corny to say that, but there's a window back there. When you're exposing for this shot, you're exposing for the window. You're not exposing for the talent. So it's kind of opposite of what you're thinking, but you're exposing for the furthest lighting source. So the furthest lighting source was behind the window, what it looked like outside, and that's how you want to expose first. And then you start filling in light as you need to achieve your goal. So if I wanted a light that was going to come behind her and be an edge light, I could have done that and done even more separation from here, but I also wanted to make sure that there was a natural look to the light, so she still popped from the window but didn't like jump too far. Once you've done that exposure, then the next trick is having a strong enough light to illuminate the room, or B, look through the difference of exposure between her, or I mean your talent, and the window. So sometimes you may have to lose some of the exterior exposure because you may not have a bright enough light to fill in the light. And the other big piece too in front of a window is you have to be able to get the light high enough that it doesn't show in the window, but at the same time not too high to where it doesn't give you unflattering shadows. As you can see underneath her neck, there's not any of those unflattering, like it's a light over her head shadows. So you got to balance between the two. Did that help answer your question there, TLK? About exposing for the furthest and then dealing with the light up front? So I'll type in the rules. Thank you for the like. All right, so I hope that answered the question there. TLK, thank you for asking. This is a really good question. Does anyone else have questions, or I'm just going to let this one play for a little bit? Once again, this is just an example of how to balance your lighting, put some sound to it. Let me throw some sound back on here.
Who's going to be managing this extraordinary new urban park that will be opening in the spring of 2025. Our role is to resource the park, so we're hoping to raise $170 million for the campaign for Waterfront Park. We've been programming it alongside community to come in and begin enjoying this place, and we're stewarding and going to be caring for it in perpetuity for generations to come. So this is an extraordinary project. For those of you who grew up in Seattle, I'm a Seattleite. We remember the viaduct that once disconnected the waterfront from downtown and from the neighborhoods and from the Salish Sea. After the 2001 Nisqually earthquake, there was a vision about recreating this space and reimagining it into a downtown urban park. And so what it took after many years, 15 years in the making, was the vision of a new extraordinary waterfront park, which will be a world-class park for people who are locals to come back down and rediscover it. But of the 15 million people who are anticipated to come annually to really enjoy the beauty of this place, to be in community and really recognize how extraordinary this city is.
Because I'm about to show you another shot if you're still on the stream.
Seeing what we do in this city that's really audacious and amazing. And this
I'm balancing between producing the show and
so I think what makes extraordinary cities are a number of things, but one of those things are parks and public spaces. You think a lot about the most extraordinary cities, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle. We actually have a lot of beautiful parks in Seattle.
Right,
I grew up at Discovery Park, Seward Park, and Lincoln Park. So we're a...
Remove this one. I'm going to add one more back in. So if you want to stay here with me. Oh, color temperature? That one was 42, I believe, 4,200. That was 4,200 Kelvin. But that was just due to the way I had the lights set up. I could have had it 56 and then done the other one 56. It's just a matter of how you set your lights up. The lights I had are by color, so it was a matter of balancing the color. And really on that one, it was warmer to start with, and I did post-production and changed how it looked. This one is raw footage, so I want to show you an example of what you can do that's raw footage, no changing color temperature, just the light. This was a 5600 light, blending exteriors and the rest. So check this out. So this one is an interview I shot in S-Cinetone. This one was shot with a 300 watt light and two different cameras. So this is the first angle, which is going to be my side angle. And then I'm going to have a little bit wider shot. Hold on just one second. Yeah. All right. I got about 10 minutes left in the stream, so I'm going to show you something here on this shot here, TLK. Let's kind of go through this, and I really do appreciate you being here on the stream. So here is the additional shot that goes with this. So that's one side, S-Cinetone, 5600, and then the other shot is going to be here. These are both of these shots were done with Sony, either FX30s or A7 IVs, because those are what I shoot with. All right, so let me add in. Here is the main cam. Now, as you can see, their colors are almost identical. They give you the ability to see the exterior and give a room that doesn't have depth, a ton of depth. And once again, I expose for the exterior first and then balanced for the room with lighting that was added to it. So being able to fill the room, and this was, if you look at his eyes right there, he's got just a single light. It's a 300-watt light that was in that room. And it filled in everything, and it gave us a nice balance between the exterior to give us some depth and the interior. Now, one of the couple other things I did too is I just let it look like he was just in his regular office. You know, this is how it's going to be. He's got his keys, he's got his water, he's got his phone, he's working. We've also got, you know, the lamp, and then we've also got the exterior. And this exterior is real. You can see the flies out there. This is big screen, you can see the flies out there. But yeah, that's basically showing you how you can expose using lighting to get the right exposure. And always expose for the furthest subject matter, and then that you want in the shot, and then start filling in light sources to achieve what you're trying to do. And that gets harder when you're in like a movie scene or anything else. Or if you're in a tight office, you may not always be able to get in what you want. Now, a lot of people will use VND filters on windows to try to get this same look, but you know, this is one of those where you just put a little bit of work in it, and you're going to get a really good shot. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be the way you need it to be, and every one of you guys can do this. I believe in all of you videographers out there that are doing this hard work. And a lot of times people aren't teaching you the fundamentals of how to do this. There's a few more steps to it. There's a couple things having to do with the VND. There's a couple of steps on how to do things inside your camera to make it possible. But the main portion of this is you can have a very consistent looking shots. So if I were to say, let's remove this, I'm going to add in the previous shots just so those who just jumped in can see the consistency in these shots for lighting. This isn't edited. This is raw footage. So this is actually the footage that came out of the camera. This was a Sony FX30 S Cinetone. So if you can't shoot that with the cameras you got, they're just awesome. You can pull this off with just about every camera that's out there. I could have done this with a Canon. I could have done this with a Nikon. These are just fundamentals for lighting that will really improve your interviews, or actually improve your TikToks too, improve your other media. But this is how you would light a scene. Or let's remove this one. And for those who came in, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Anyone who's given the likes, thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. We're going to add in another one. And the reason why we're going to add another one is I just want to show you there's some super consistency. So these are like 3 different shots that I've done. And this one has 2 different camera angles in it, so the consistency is there. This was also shot in S Cinetone, was not shot in log. No, I don't believe this one was shot in log. No, take that back. This one was shot in S log 3. But still, being able to get the same consistent color. And this is between 2 different cameras. So you can pull this off any place. It's a matter of having good lighting. You don't have to have a 1.2 lens. Actually, the 1.2s and 1.8s are actually a detriment to you because you'll get so much light in the room from them that you will have to get a VND and then have to get, a stronger light. Having an f4 shot like this was done with an f4, you're going to get a more controlled shot. And as you can look at the background, these are cars going through. This is the rest going through. It's just giving you a really great look. Does anyone have any questions? TOK has pretty much been the only one that's asked questions, and that's cool. I appreciate those who ask questions. I'm here to answer them. I may not be the best at this yet because I'm getting used to going on, me being in front of the camera. I'm usually behind the camera or producing. So I'm enjoying this new experience, but it's not my normal experience. So feel free to ask questions. I'm also using a third-party app, so sometimes there's like a 7 to 20-second delay before those questions pop up. So feel free to ask anything you'd like. Let's see. Do I have another one I can throw in here that'd be kind of a cool one to show off? It's Adonis. Oh, here's a fun one. This one was actually shot. This is one of the ones I did for a Fox affiliate, and this also shows you where lighting and where also exterior lighting and interior lighting can be very important. Let me pop that one in here real quick. Move. All right, so here's one right here that I shot last year that ended up going on back to Besa. And one of the things is understanding lighting too in a room, making sure that you can see the lighting. Now, here's why it's important to know how you're going to do your exposures. Because if you don't know how you're going to do your exposures, you're not going to be able to get this type of lighting. So I use the lighting from the windows to expose for the food. So windows can be used in more than one way. You can use windows and the light that comes from it to be your key light. And that's phenomenal ways of taking advantage of lighting coming from a window. And that's part of the reason I want to show you this video is just because of that. Let me remove this one because it doesn't quite get all the way with the message I'm trying to get across today. Let's see what else I've got here that would be. Nope. All right, I want to show you this one. Nope, I'm not going to show you this one because this is one that is for another client. I'm going to stick with the gentleman's video. Thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to be on for the next 3 or 4 minutes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them because you got like 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. I'm just going to add in one more example just so you can see it. And then we're gonna call it good for the day. We're gonna call this good after you've had an opportunity to watch this one for a second, because this is, if you didn't want to do an S-Log and you wanted to just be able to shoot, this is how you would do it. This one here is a single light setup. You got great exposure for the window, great exposure for the client, and it looks really good. And these are the types of videos you want to be able to shoot on a daily basis. And this is just using a single light, 1 or 2 cameras. In this case, there was 2 cameras, nice lavaliers, and you don't have to put the shotgun mics, you don't have to put everything else up there, and you're going to have just a great, great video. For those who have watched tonight, I absolutely appreciate and love the fact that you've come on to the live stream with me. You didn't have to. You had a ton of other things you could do tonight. It is 11 o'clock at night, so not everyone's in the mood for an 11 o'clock podcast or video shoot or whatever you want to call them. I call these pods. They're all the same to me. Pods, live streams, they're all the same. But I appreciate y'all watching. Just so you know, I'm at Tulalip Resort and Casino. They have like one of the coolest spots to just chill, watch sports, and do a live stream. And I am there. TLK, you asked a bunch of great questions tonight, and I really appreciate you doing that. You didn't have to. And I hope we get an opportunity to see each other in the future on more live streams. My schedule is to live stream every day for at least 10 minutes to an hour in regards to techniques on video, audio, and productions in general. So, for example, how to do live streaming. Oh, who's commenting here? Oh, appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I'll be going over all different types of techniques. We'll be going over sound too, how to get your sound right in interviews, how to work with the systems we have available right now and the tools we have that are way better than what we used to have. We're also in a world where you don't need a shotgun microphone to make things happen, which is nice because you used to have like huge audio setups. Now we can go in and do a professional setup. If you have any more questions on lighting tonight, please ask them. You got roughly 2 more minutes to ask the questions, and I'll answer them. Even it could be like what lights to buy, what's good to use in a room like this, how would I cause more separation between him and the wall, would I use a key light, would I use a hair light, what would be something that would add to the flavor, things like that. Seems to be a couple of y'all left online. Looks like I got one over here on the productions channel and then one on the video and audio channel. You catch me at the end of it. Feel free to watch through. I really do appreciate everybody who's jumped in onto the live stream. By the way, TLK asked some really cool questions today on how to set up your lighting. There is no film on the window, just so everybody knows. That is just using a key light, doing good light balancing between what's in the interior of the room and the exterior of the room. So there's no extra like films and everything done, and that was a single person crew, me, doing that shot. So I didn't have 2 or 3 people with me that day. And you're going to find with the new feature we have now, it's going to be 1 or 2 of us only out there. So there might be something you're going to look at and go, oh, do I really want to be that 1 or 2 only person team? And it could be. This is going to be my last round. I'm going to go for a total of 40 minutes. So any questions, any comments, any likes you could give would be awesome. Subscribing would be cool. And I am here for you. So floor is yours. So if you got any questions, please ask them. If you're going to throw some likes in there, please do. And thank you so much for watching tonight. Let's go through the list. Got 3 minutes left. I'll tell you a list of equipment I used for this. I used a GVM 300-watt light. So you don't have to buy an aperture. GVM does just as good. I was using a Sony FX30 with an 18-105 G lens on there. And I was using a Sony A7 IV with a 24-105 G lens on there. Was using K&F VNDs, which is a variable neutral density filter, to help balance the light out in the room and exterior. And then I had 2 video tripods. 2 more minutes. Video tripods. With the fluid heads, that does help a lot because you'll be able to get your angles right, and it's much easier than trying to use a tripod. And I was using Rode Wireless Pro units for the audio with a Rode Lavalier 1. The Rode Lavalier 2s that come with the Rode Pros, I just wasn't using them, so I like the pencil style lavaliers, so that's what I used on that one there. But I have now gone over to the Rode lavalier 2s to most of my interviews just because they're somewhat directional, so I can actually block out some of the exterior stuff because I've been doing a lot of ENG lately. Beyond that, I have to say thank you for showing up and watching. Don't let the camera be your issue with being able to get shots like this. Just worry mainly on using lighting to achieve the shots you want to achieve, because these shots can be done and achieved with any modern camera you have out there. So if you picked up a Panasonic, Sony, Nikon, Canon, Blackmagic Design, you can pull off a shot like this. It's mainly lighting, because all of the sensors are pretty good. Yes, Sony does have some of the best sensors out there, so they're going to look a little bit easier to get the shot done. But you're going to achieve this with just about all the other cameras out there. Just know Canon will be a warmer shot, so you will have to, if you don't like that warm look, you will have to cut back a little bit on the Kelvin. Beyond that, thank you for watching. We are 20 seconds away from saying good night. So Good night, all. Thank you for watching. I'm the last comment of the night. Thank you for being here. I appreciate y'all. You didn't have to be here tonight. Bye-bye now.